I'm Alex,
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
and we are
The
Button
Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
With my Xbox and also just with my YouTube Premium subscription, I was given 3 free months of Game Pass. And so, of course, I'm going to activate it. I'm going to try it, see what I think. It's almost up. It'll be up like sometime in the next 30 days. In that time, I've managed to play through a couple games, none of which are actually going to fit the bill here. Because, I played Banjo-Kazooie start to finish on the Xbox, but we did a remap for that. I played through Banjo-Tooie just because I enjoyed it, but I want to save that. I don't want to talk about that today. I played through Donut County, but Alex has talked about that. Kind of cute indie game. So last night I started up something I thought would be a chill time. It was Firewatch, a big indie game, and I'm not finished, so that's my little disclaimer, but it's been not what I expected, but still pretty cool. So some context about the game. Came out in 2016, and it has sort of a historical backdrop. In Yellowstone Park in 1988, there were a lot of forest fires, and so a fire watch was established, and there was more recruiting for it. And you play as a guy that kind of goes into the mountains, stays in a lookout tower looking for fires or dangerous fire activities. And what I meant when I said it wasn't exactly what I expected is because I started like, oh, this will be chill, kind of nice landscapes made with Unity. We're going to be unified by the end of this. But, it's kind of a cool, impressive kind of like mountain exploration game. Not exactly. It starts off with some visual novel elements. You play as Henry, and you actually kind of make some inconsequential decisions about your relationship with a girl named Julia, who you meet in a bar. You later go on to get married. And you start to hear about your life unfold, and it takes a tragic turn in that you find out that she starts to get early dementia. And the main character is also somewhat of an alcoholic. And so this retreat into the mountains of Wyoming, I assume it's close to Yellowstone, actually becomes sort of a getaway. And just as you were making choices early in the intro sequence, think kind of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or something, about your relationship, and you see kind of the tragicness of it all, you spend this time with only one contact. Her name is Delilah, and she has a walkie-talkie, and she basically gives you your missions, but she's also very much personable and human, and she kind of probes into your life as you probe into hers. And what makes it really surreal is that I went on a cabin trip recently, and it was sort of terrifying because it was upstate New York, and literally didn't know anyone, didn't make a human contact when we got to the cabin. We just got texted an entry code, and then like we went in, and it was like a tiny house, and I was like terrified that like somebody was gonna mug us or something. And so like I had like chairs set up against the door, like in case people would break in, and like other protective measures. I kind of got vibes of that again while playing this game. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. It's terrifying. If you're playing with the headphones on, you only hear the sounds of the forest. There's kind of a freak out aspect of like your first operative is like you go into the forest to explain like, or to see people setting off fireworks. And you have to like go, stop them from doing that. It ends up being like a couple teenage girls who then hold a vendetta against you. And so you come back home on the first day and your whole lookout tower is trashed, and so there's this like danger in that aspect too, and so it coincides with some mystery kind of murder vibes, and it's really interesting, it's really fascinating, and it's a real interesting look at the human psyche of the main character and what it must be like to be somebody in that position, somebody who is literally at rock bottom. At one point they talk about him getting a DUI, and basically his wife's got dementia, he's married, and what's left for him other than this experience being in the Firewatch. And so it's really interesting in that regard, and I'm appreciating it. I'm likely to finish it.
So you said, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Alex.
you go ahead, Brian.
Okay. So you mentioned it's kind of a
No,
spookiness to it. Oh, go ahead. So you mentioned, I know, I have to learn that. I'm starting to know. It's gonna take me a little bit still until it gets hammered in me. But anyway, you mentioned it's kind of a spookiness to me, to me, not to it. Is it like a creepiness different from a Resident Evil, or because I've been trying to get into that series too, or is it like just the fact that you're out on your own with the like? How are the graphics like realistic, or are they like more different, or they try to be like a more artistic style, or is it a creepy game like a scary Resident Evil? Is it just kind of uneasiness to it?
Yeah, so I'll address both. So, game was made with Unity. Kind of looks like you're exploring like a Call of Duty landscape without just any gunplay. So it's just like I hesitate to call it a walking simulator. It's a hiking simulator. No, it's a kind of a watchtower kind of experience. You go around, like there's like little lock boxes. You go there, you grab stuff, grab a flashlight, doing all types of exploration. But there is a danger about it. So like what I mean by the spookiness is not necessarily like like a crazy monster is going to come out of the woods. It's like no, you attach the rope to like a rock, and then the rope is old, and then you suddenly fall and you see the screen black. It's like you hit your head. And so like, you know, and you're doing it in a first person perspective. It has this kind of like, it's not like the most beautiful graphics, but it is pretty impressive, kind of like in a simple watercolor aspect. It actually gives you a Polaroid camera at one point where you can start taking pictures of stuff. So I don't know if you can look at those later in the game, but that's a pretty cool aspect. And I think it's on several fronts, like it's just uncanny. It might be the way I describe it.
Okay. It sounds like it's like more of an adventure game with a good feeling to it. It gets you really into the game just by the world and the experience altogether. It's a different kind of like a game. That's be something I'd like to try out.
That's one of the coolest parts about modern indie games to me, is because a lot of I feel like a lot of like AAA studios try to make like a Hollywood movie into a game, you know, like something like The Last of Us 2. And sometimes they succeed and sometimes they don't. But I feel like a lot of indie games are able to take a very simple premise and put a lot of heart and soul into it to make a story-based game that really sticks with you, maybe more than some of the AAA titles.
Yeah, I agree. Most of this new stuff I play is indie stuff lately. I haven't played besides Nintendo releases, the stuff on indie I've really enjoyed. And this one I don't really know much about, but I'll have to get a shot. It seems interesting. Thank you. Thanks, Teddy.
Yeah, a couple other interesting facts, you know, in terms of, I remember now when Alex brought it up, but it was actually based, all the graphics, in one still image of a mountain range. So that's kind of a cool aspect. They're making there's a confirmed film release being made, or some kind of TV series or something. So that's pretty interesting. The game is popular. It was 2.5 million sold at one point. So I mean, like, you know, that's really impressive. And I think it's the company's first game too.
What systems are this on? You're playing it on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, I'm playing it on Game Pass on my Xbox, but it's obviously on Steam. I think I've seen it on the Switch online service as well. You could download it there.
Okay.
Don't know about the Sony.
Okay.
Is it on SegaNet for the Genesis?
Probably not, but if you could mod that in, that would be awesome.
Sega Channel.
Sega Channel, that's what it's called. Now, I remember when this game came out, there was a lot of buzz and hype around the story, and at that time, I wasn't really as into indie games as I am now. So at the time, I was like, oh, it's just one of those artsy-fartsy games. But as I've gotten to play more of the style of games, I feel like this game would be something that I would greatly appreciate.
Yeah, I think sometimes you kind of get prejudiced about games. You hear about, like, this game is something I won't like. You just hear so much about it, and it kind of puts you off playing it. But I don't have much experience in these type of games. Like I played like Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom and Deja Vu and Uninvited.
Boy, did you ever play
But I'd give this a shot. If it's like Princess Tomato, I'd be up for it.
I don't think your chat's going to forgive you for that one.
It's like Princess Tomato, only the fucking
where the tomato has dementia.
The
and
music from that game is burned into my brain.
So it's a good soundtrack, but I'd be up for this.
The one song?
No, there's more songs. Each area has a. We don't. This is not the Princess Tomato discussion.
I watched you stream that game for like 5 hours, and I heard one song.
There's more than one song. I will send you the soundtrack on Discord. I'll give it to you to prove. But yeah, I've heard about Firewatch. I don't know much about it. If I can get it on a Switch, he said I'd wait for a sale. It probably goes on sale and try it out. But yeah, you piqued my interest on that, Teddy.
I beat Firewatch. I think I played it in like one sitting. It took me like 4 hours. Does that sound about right, Teddy?
I'm about 2 in, and I'm on day 2. It looks like I have like 20% of the achievements, so there might be 10 days. The only thing is that I think in terms of the exploration, you actually have like a map that you pull up, and you'll pull up a compass with it, and you'll have to use that to explore. So I found myself getting a little bit overwhelmed with trying to figure out where the hell to go. You're just hunting a couple teenagers. It's like where that, like, you know, you get a couple tips along the way, and you'll update your map as you go in vaults. But I feel like I'm going really slow for what it is. Each day is taking me about 30 minutes. So that might be right in the end. You know, it might be about 4 hours. But I don't know. Yeah. That answers the question.
So you mentioned, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Spencer.
It was pretty good. I mean, Alex said artsy fartsy. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's very artsy fartsy.
Dude,
but
those short artsy fartsy games are good sometimes, though. You know.
Yeah,
like, Grease was pretty good. I like that.
It wasn't bad. It was like I don't know. I guess I just didn't get it. I don't think I got Firewatch.
I have a more personal connection to it in that my grandma had dementia. And I wasn't expecting this when I played it. I know you picked it for me for Spencer Month last year as like a game I should try. Yeah, you had it in that list. Oh, really? I don't know. I mean, but you know, I think I take some of that stuff seriously. Like when it comes to like, you really feel the character's dilemma. And so it was emotional for me starting it up. I didn't think I was ready for it, you know? And I don't know if I feel like I should talk about that stuff when I'm talking like about the game here, because I feel like it is vital to like internalizing the character's conflict and also the decisions that you pick. They may seem inconsequential because they refer to the dialogue, and I don't know yet how it affects the outcome of the game, if it does at all. But you know, it really does make you feel like the character. And it's not like one of those situations where it's like Persona, it's like you just pick the dialogue option. Like you actually hear Henry's voice as you talk into the walkie-talkie. It makes those decisions. And sometimes the decisions are timed when you have the walkie-talkie, the like little timer goes down. So there is a sense of, for me, especially with headphones on, big screen, you know, Mountain View, Unity, you know, where I do feel in the character's shoes. So in that respect, I can empathize, and I can kind of feel what that's like.
I totally agree with like bringing that stuff to the table when it comes to talking about this kind of games, because back in 2020 I talked about Ghost Giant, one of the first game talks of that year, and that game also deals with like really heavy themes, with more importantly with being a kid and your parental guardian going through like a really like depressive state, and that was something that I related to with that game. Because whenever I was younger, you know, I was a kid and my mom was going through a really depressive state. And as a kid, like, you don't understand that. So I feel like there's a lot of these kind of like shorter experiences, I would call them, that like they're nice to like refresh the palate, and they're able to tackle like pretty heavy themes without coming off as like heavy handed. So it sounds like Firewatch is like one of those.
Yeah, I think a lot of those games get, if it has a theme that resonates with people, some people will pass it off as being artsy fartsy. But when it's just, I think if a game resonates with you strongly with a theme in it, I think that can be very powerful. Like Teddy said, with his grandmother and with dementia and everything, that can really resonate with you and make the game even more enjoyable, or put you off a game.
It's funny. I always go back and say, like, you know, Journey is like, that's my typical artsy fartsy, because I think that something like Journey doesn't have the same kind of exposition and details to be as meaningful as something like this. I think that this is just very well conceived and has a concept and does give you some kind of liberation and choice. But does that mean I'm going to take away from somebody else who loves Journey and it meant something to them? No, but I think they're different kind of experiences. I think that that's more of an ambiguous kind of thing, and that this is a bit more of like a solid concrete sort of thing, and I just that happens to resonate with me.
Better than Donut County.
Don't know about that one.
Wait, Donut County didn't resonate?
Just make holes. It's great.
Oh,
Just-
Donut County resonates. I love donuts.
That's a great game.
Fun fact: my mom actually likes that game. She played through one of the few games other than Dr. Mario that she and Animal Crossing that she actually plays.
I thought you were gonna say your mom fell through a donut hole.
Yeah. A
Fun
raccoon
fact:
sucked
our
my
county
mom
is
through.
actually known as the Donut County. We have Dunkin' Donuts to every square mile.
Nice.
Okay, that's it for Firewatch.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.